Hi everyone, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. This channel is going to be dedicated to all things like yarn and crafting and creative and all that. And for my first ever video, I thought I would go ahead and dye some yarn with you guys. I have done some yarn in the past with food coloring, but I haven't done any dye with acid dyes yet. And I just got mine in the mail, so I'm really excited to get into it. So let's go over some of the stuff that I have. So first thing that I have here is this bag of citric acid that I got. I actually found it at my discount store for a really good price, so I'm pretty excited for that. And then I have the acid dyes that I'm using. They're Derma acid dyes. I got the starter kit, and then I got these three other colors, one of which is a yellow. I don't know why, but when I looked at the starter kit, I didn't see a yellow in it. So now I have two yellows. So that's cool. And then I just have some worsted weight wool yarn here that I'm going to use. So that's pretty exciting. And then I have these filters for my respirator mask that just came in the mail today too also, so I'm really excited for that. And then this guy I am pretty stoked for. I actually found him at my discount store as well. And one of the YouTubers that I follow, Frugal Fit Mom, she uses these all the time to cook with, and I really love them. And I thought they were so cute when I first saw them. I was like, I need one of those. But on Amazon, they're actually pretty pricey. So when I saw this at my discount store for $2, I was like, I have to have that. So I got one for cooking, and then I got this guy for dyeing yarn. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And yeah. Oh, he's also like a thicker like plastic, so I don't even think he's gonna get stained. So that's like a win-win for me. Yeah. So pretty excited about that. And then I found these tongs that I just got for helping me, maneuver hot yarn. Gotta have those. And then I got some dedicated measuring cups and spoons. That's my little respirator back there. And then for the yarn, like I said, it's just 100% wool worsted weight yarn, nothing special. I actually got it for a gift from my brother-in-law. He was like, "Hey, you like to dye things, and you said that, wool is good, so here you go." And I love that. And it says that it's pure new wool, but I don't really know what that means. I don't think it means anything. I don't know. I think it's going to dye up just the same though, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, and then when he found them, only one of them had the label, the other one had no label. So yeah, but they feel and look the same, so I think they're the same yarn. I'm not really worried about it. And then I did have to skein these up myself because they came in ball form. So I did use some just leftover acrylic yarn to help me make ties out of them, and they're pretty soft. I wouldn't make like a scarf or anything around my neck, but I would make like a hat or some gloves. I think they'd be perfect for that. So that's probably what I'll end up doing is just making like a hat or gloves. Yeah, real excited. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to get those soaking. And while those soak, I'm just going to go ahead and get all my stuff set up. This right here is a steamer pan, a full-size steamer pan. I couldn't find a pot that I liked for a good deal, so I got this guy instead at a restaurant supply store. He doesn't have a lid, but I think that'll be okay. And then I also got some vinegar. And since I've dyed with food coloring before, I use vinegar and I know kind of like ratio wise how much I like for how much yarn. I haven't really used the citric acid before, so I think I might just do vinegar for my first time with acid dyes, just, because it's something I'm familiar with. But I don't know, we'll see. And then my yarn is soaking. It's been in here about 30 minutes, so it's pretty much ready to go. And while it was soaking, I went ahead and just separated my colors and decided how I want to do this. And I think on skein number 2, I'm going to do these 3. And then on skein number 1, I'm going to do these 6. Now, all of these colors are the ones that came in the starter kit with the exception of this sunflower yellow. This is the one that I bought. But yeah, so all the ones that came in were the fire engine red, deep navy, Caribbean blue, deep magenta, sorry, dark navy, deep magenta, the sunflower yellow, and brilliant yellow. Um, so we have two yellows to compare. And I'm not really sure if I want to do the dark navy or not. I think if I do it, it's going to be in this section like with these colors, but I'm still kind of undecided about that. And then there was one other color that came with the starter kit, and that one is the true black that I have here. This one I'm going to do on the other skein with the two other colors that I bought, which were espresso bean and antique mauve or mauve. I'm not really sure how to say that, but antique dusty pinks are like one of my favorite colors, so I knew I had to get that when I saw it on the site. And then espresso anything, coffee anything, I saw that and was like, yes, I need that. And then also I have tried to make browns before with food coloring, but they always turn out so red or orange. And yeah, so having like a premixed brown in my arsenal is going to be amazing. And it's coffee, so you know it's going to be amazing. So I love it. But yeah, I think for our first skein, we're going to go ahead and do those colors. So I got my skein set up. I have it in my steamer pan, and I didn't really know what to do for the phone camera situation. I didn't really have a tripod, so I kind of set you on top of the microwave. You can kind of see just a clip of it there in the edge, but I hope it's good enough that you can see the pan well enough. But yeah. So here we go. My skein is all hot and the water is all good to go. So I started adding flower yellow. That was the first one I added. I was too excited to break into it to wait. And if you are a seasoned yarn dyer, please look away now. Please, please, please look away now. Here's the deal. I've dyed with food coloring before. I haven't done much, but I did a little bit, and here I am coming with a brilliant yellow, and you could just see the piles of color I put on. So yeah, with food coloring, you can add a little and build it up and get intense colors, and you can add a lot and build it up and get intense colors. And with this acid dye, you really only need like the barest amount. And I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. And I don't even realize it until most of the way through the skein. But here I come in with a fire truck red and I'm just pounding the color on. And I mean, I kind of went a little light in some places, but then I went heavy in other places because I was thinking I want just a little color here, but I want a lot of color here. And I didn't really think about the fact that that's not really how those are supposed to be used. I was just too busy with like, oh, pretty colors and look at how they're mixing. It's so lovely. I mean, I was having a ball, but however, I learned relatively quickly that this is not how you do it. So, yeah. And here I am with the deep magenta. And really the next color is about the part that I realize how much color is in the water and that you just don't need that much. And this is a single skein, by the way. This is not like a lot of yarn. This is like a single skein. Yeah. Um, anyways, I was having a ball and this is my first time. Here I am with the Caribbean blue. This is my first time yeah, and this is about the part that I realized there's so much color, I don't need like a lot, so I only added just a little bit of that. And I do wish that I hadn't added the dark navy. The dark navy ended up taking over and muddying everything, and I am really sad. See, here I am going in with it. And at this point, I realized I didn't need much. You can see me adding a lot less there, but I mean, it was still quite a bit. But yeah, so I added just a touch of dark navy, and it ends up taking over the whole skein. You'll see here in just a minute. But yeah. So uh yeah, mistakes were made. It is my first time and I didn't know and I learned the hard way, really. But anyways, here's just a quick time lapse of me letting it sit. Got all over my hands. I was wearing my respirator, but I think I might buy some gloves for the future because the dyeing yarn is messy. And here you'll see me adding more vinegar. This is about the 20-minute mark. I let it sit for 10 minutes, came back, let it sit for 10 minutes, realized none of the color was like leaving the pan like at all, like it was all in the water. So I added some more vinegar, left it for another 10 minutes, came back. This is about the part that I realized the navy's taking over. You can see me showing it there being like, okay, this is a horrible idea. It's all muddy now. But yeah, I just kept coming back and checking, and the water was not exhausting. Like all the color was still there, and I was like, okay, I gotta do something else. So at about 45 minutes, which is right here, I decided that I was just gonna turn off the heat, let it cool down completely, and see if I could get it to exhaust. I wasn't super hopeful because at this point I realized just how much was in it. And you can see here, I'm showing you like a closer up of how much color is still in the water, just everywhere. But I decided that the best course of action was going to be to turn off the heat, let it, cool down completely, and then see where we were at. So that's exactly what I did. So, yeah, there's still quite a lot of color in there, and it did exhaust a good bit, but not completely. And can we just talk about how messy dyeing yarn is? These particles got everywhere. In fact, this is actually a wet tea towel to try and encourage all the particles to just onto it instead of the rest of my kitchen. So yeah, I might have to figure out some other method because this is kind of messy. But yeah, just gonna let it cool and see how it looks. And here we are. It's cooled completely. It's after dinner, late into the evening, and the water is almost exhausted, but then I move the skein and you can see all that color just coming right out of it. Yeah. This was actually kind of hard for me to swallow because with the food coloring, I've always had it exhaust completely and I've never had like any bleeding. I think the most bleeding I ever had was a little bit of red when I did like a lot of red because I was layering it. That's probably the only time I've ever had it bleed. So I wasn't really prepared for all the bleeding. Um, but I was thankful as I was moving it around, I kept finding these pops of color, and I was pretty sure that the dark navy had muddied everything and that I was really going to have any distinct color left. But there were a couple pops of color in there, so I was pretty excited for that. And yeah, so just getting ready to face the music, I had to take like a mental deep breath. And here I am just matching the water temperature to the yarn temperature. And then I go ahead and just put it in the sink. And I had like a brief moment where I looked at it and I was like, okay, maybe it's okay. There's not a lot of bleeding. And then I added the Dawn dish soap. And I added Dawn because it's what I had. As I'm going to be working with acid dyes more, I might look into another soap. But in the meantime, this is what I have. And so I added it. And then the second I started moving it around, I saw all the color coming out. And oh, if you could hear me, I'm just going, no, not the color. But yeah, I was, this was the most amount of bleeding I'd ever had to deal with. And I wasn't really sure what to do other than just keep rinsing it until it runs clear. That was the only thing I could think to do. So I cleaned out the water, got some fresh water going, and got a little bit more soap. And I was just going to rinse it till it ran clear. And I realized about this point when I saw how much color was in the water again, I was like, okay, this is going to take quite a few amount of rinses. And it did. It took a good amount. But yeah. And I think really the worst offenders were the dark navy and the fire truck red. I think those two were the ones that were like really bleeding out of this at this point. I think everything else had pretty much been absorbed. But you can just see how much color is in there. So yeah, I'm just going to cut away till I get this rinsed clean and then we'll come back and check on it. Okay, so I got it all clean, rinsed clear. I'm just straining out the last of the water in it, and then I'm gonna go hang it up to dry. But we do still have one skein to try those other colors on. So thanks for joining me for my first ever attempt at dyeing acid dyes. If you want to see me dye the other skein, go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification bell, come back, and we'll do the other skein, hopefully with a little bit less dye. All right, see you guys later. Bye.